We see them on our roads. We hear their sirens here and there, their ambulance. We set out to visit ICT Fire and Rescue Center along Garissa Road, 7 kilometers from Thika Town. We are here to take a look into the day-to-day happenings from the moment a call is passed through to the ambulance medics, the rescue mission, till the time the patient is handed over to the hospital.
Welcome to ICT Fire and Rescue. My name is Patrick Kingori Mwai, the head of emergency company at ICT Fire and Rescue. Today, welcome at ICT Fire and Rescue, where we venture into saving life. Our mandate is to save life and protect property.
ICT College, ICT Fire and Rescue, we are situated along Garissa Highway, 7 kilometers from Thika Town. My name is Duke Kombati. I'm the Principal International Center of Technology, ICT Fire and Rescue Fire Academy. We have quite a number of programs that we run at International Center of Technology and ICT Fire and Rescue. Most of them, they are emergency courses, including firefighting, EMT, disaster management, occupational health and safety courses.
The work of an ambulance begins right from the time the control or dispatch room receives a call. For our case, we are demonstrating how to offer ambulance services to victims who have been rescued from a smoke-filled house.
Hapa ndio hiyo simu inakuja. The phone is here, and these are trained dispatchers. They are also firemen and emergency medical technician. Simu inapokuja hapa, hawa ndio wanatuambia, wana-analyze, wako na ujuzi pia kuambia yule ambaye amepiga simu kile anaweza kufanya kabla ambulance ifike. So every emergency call, kila simu ya dharura kwanza itakuja hapa, alafu atatuambia, tutatoka tuingie kwa ambulance.
Whenever there is an accident, the control room will receive a call, and immediately the control room receives communication. It dispatches the ambulance with medics who runs to the scene of the accident.
So I got 1 of A. I got 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 up. Let's see the patient on the stair.
Patients that are conscious and are able to communicate are calmed down and made comfortable before the first aid is ministered at the scene, and they are later taken to the ambulance.
The patient can stand at this moment.
So we unstrap the patient.
Hello? So I want you to come in this seat, okay? So remove the stitcher.
However, when a patient is unconscious, the medics check out for a pulse, among other things, before laying them on a stretcher and taking them to the ambulance too.
So this I'm going to see whether my patient is having circulation in the legs. I'm going to check whether my patient is having a pulse. So when I pinch this through, I'm expecting to see a grimace from my patient's eyes. And then in the other leg, I'm doing the same. I'm assessing to see whether there is any bleeding to my patient. I can see sensory, and then I'm pinching to see the grimace. And then I come to the hands. In the hands, I do the same. I do check whether there is bleeding. I check a pulse. So here you have the radio pulse. I check the sensory, and then I pinch to see whether my patient is responding to motor. My patient, I can see some grimace in the eyes.
It has been confirmed that our patient is alive, and so she shall be taken to the ambulance for further care.
Some of you may have been carried in these vehicles, while others, you've had your loved ones being picked up by an ambulance. But have you ever taken a tour inside this wonderful yet scaring vehicle, the ambulance? Today, welcome as I take you on a tour. It being my very first time to be carried in this, I want to find out what exactly happens in the ambulance, what is expected, and who is supposed to be carried in this ambulance.
Thank you very much, Madam Sele.
Yes.
So my name naitwa Joseph Karanja, an emergency medical technician under the Kenya Council of Emergency Medical Technicians. This is a council which was formed long years ago after the 1998 bomb blast. We came up with a council which normally trains emergency medical technicians, first aiders, and paramedics. So for me, I work at ICT Fire and Rescue Ambulance. I have been here in this company for the last 2 years, giving emergency care and transportation to the sick and the injured people.
Wale ambao tuna train katika ambulance Those working at the ambulance do not get into a burning house. These firemen and women are trained on basic emergency rescue, where they can do first aid, they can do CPR, and as they rescue people out of a burning house. Wanapomtoa huyu mtu ambaye amepatikana kwenye nyumba imechomeka, wanakuja, wanamtoa, wanaweza wakamfanyia huduma ya kwanza, na wapomtoa kabla wampatiane kwenye hao ambao wanafanya kazi katika ambulance.
So inside our ambulance we have different equipments which we use for stabilization of the patient. We have this, which is the ambulance bed, or what we call the stretcher. We have this. This is called a response bag, or a trauma bag. So in this bag we have some medications, some equipment which used to stabilize the patient on the scene. We have everything here which we need for the first 10 minutes we encounter with the patient. We also have these oxygen pots. This is a flow meter which used to deliver oxygen. This is a BP machine, a manual BP machine. You can see it here. And then as we continue, we have this suction machine. For the suction, we use it to remove vomiters or blood inside the patient's mouth or airway, so that the patient cannot aspirate, because when he or she aspirates, he can be choked by this blood. So we use this machine. It's called a suction unit. Then we have a very good machine here, which is a monitor, a cardiac monitor. We use it to take the saturation of our patient. We also use it to take the blood pressure of our patient. It gives us the heart rate of our patient, and we use it to do what we call ECG. ECG, we use it in advanced life support to see how the electrical functions of the heart, how a patient is doing. We have different chambers in the ambulance. This chamber is labeled fluids. So here is where we store our fluids. We have different resuscitation fluids. We have dextrose, we have normal saline, we have Ringer's lactate. And then in this chamber here, it's called airway management. So in this chamber is where we store our airway mask. We have different airway masks to deliver different oxygen. We have what we call oxygen mask, we have nebulizing mask, we have non-rebreather. And then in the other chamber, we have what we call the maternity sickness chamber. So here is where we place our delivery kits. We have different delivery kits. For this one is a sterile one. It's closed, it's not open. So in this ambulance we can be able to do delivery well and very comfortable. We have another one here, another pack here. And then in this chamber is where we put our gauzes and our bandages and dressings in this chamber. We have what we call a tourniquet. We have different type of tourniquet which we use to control any bleeding. In this chamber we store our blankets, and also we store our hygiene equipment. Here we have what we call a disposable pot. We have a good blankets here which are very exposable. We use them for single use. In this chamber we have drugs and medication. Note, it's not labeled. Why? Because people should not be knowing where our medication are. But for us who are working here, we know where we keep our medication. We have a safe box here, which for it to be opened, you press, you put some code, it's open. So this is where we put our high alert medication. Let's say the medication like morphine, adrenaline, we place them here inside the safe box. So this is our drug, and this generally this is our ambulance at home. Here we put our PPE bags, and we have the PPE kits here. So these one are used when you are dealing with bleeding a lot, or when you are dealing with Ebola cases, COVID cases. You have PPEs here. These are the goggles. This is the gown. It's sealed for safetiness. And then here we have a chamber for burning cases and splits. This is where we put our cervical collars. These we put to patient's neck when we suspect our patient may be having a cervical spine injury. And then we have these equipment here. These are the pelvic binder. When our patient, we suspect our patient may be having a pelvic injury or injury in the pelvis, use these belts, belt-like things to secure the pelvic. And then we have these splits. These splints, we use them to splint the patient leg. Let's say a patient have a fracture in the leg. We are going to use this splint to make sure the leg is well splinted.
Working in an ambulance comes with several challenges that one has to sail through, even as they struggle to save lives.
Challenges ni mingi. Bearing in mind, unapata mgonjwa amegongwa na gari, amevunjika, anatoka damu. Challenges ni mingi. But one thing we normally do, we do this thing out of love and passion. So no other day I will wake up and decide I'm quitting. No, we'll never quit. Kwa hivyo changamoto ni kwamba unapitia ile kitu tunaita stressful events. Na unapata kitu tunaitwa post traumatic stress disorder. Hii ni wakati ambapo unajipata kwa mfano umerespond kwa mgonjwa na huyu mgonjwa bahati mbaya ameaga ukimpea ile huduma ya kwanza. Anapoaga unahuzunika kwa sababu bado tuko na ile roho ya binadamu. Utajipata unahuzunika. Hiyo kitu bado kwa akili yako inaweza kuaffect for a long time to a point that you can decide to quit. We are doing it SPO2
is at 65.
65. So we need to continue with oxygen.
Yes.
But we do what we call debriefing. Nimeenda ile nimerespond. After hapo tutakuja tukae chini. Tukae na kikundi changu ambacho tulikuwa kazi hiyo siku. Tukae na wakubwa wetu. Tueleze ambavyo tunajihisi. Challenge nyingine tunapata hapa kwetu Kenya. Our roads, the way our roads are designed, they are not designed in a way that they give a certain lane to ambulance people. You find that we can be strapped in traffic for about 4 hours, where else we having a patient. Huku nje tunapata society yetu hawana ile elimu ya kupea kipaumbele gari za emergency. Unapata kuna traffic mingi sana na at the same time tunafaa tupeleke mgonjwa. Kwa hivyo tutakawia kwa barabara sana. Changamoto zingine ni kwa saa zingine gari zetu zinaweza break down, tukose backup. Na but as per now tunaweza sema ambulance sasa tuko nazo. So tunaweza himiza tu serikali, either serikali ya county ama serikali kubwa iwaajiri paramedics ama emergency medical technicians kwa hizi ambulance. Kwa sababu unapata paramedics ama emergency medical technicians ni watu wenye wamefunzwa how to give pre-hospital care.
There are, however, brighter days too.
This patient was in a cardiac arrest. So at first kila mtu alikuwa stranded. Even us tulifika tukastuka. Juu watu wanalia, wanaona it's like it's normal. Watu wamelia, familia imelia, but my colleague told me be strong. You're the guy to save this person. So mimi nikakuwa strong, nikajipea nguvu. So tuka approach ule patient and then we did what we call CPR or cardiopulmonary resuscitation. This is whereby you are trying to resuscitate the heart. Tukafanya for about 10 minutes. Do you know Sele? Ule patient after touching the pulse, we do check this. Here we have what we call carotid pulse. After checking the pulse, tulisikia pulse ya patient imerudi. And then wale familia walikuwa wanasema ashaenda. So hata ile saa tulikuwa tunatoka walikuwa wanatuita Yesu. Confirm that we've been able to stabilize the patient and currently we are taking the patient to Mulumba Hospital.
The patient is stabilized and being transported to Mulumba.
Within the next few minutes we will be at Mulumba, so you can confirm our return to base time and also confirm our rehabilitation method.
Confirm that you will be at Mulumba in a few.
Copied, over and out. So now we get moving to Mulumba. So the moment I reach at hospital, the first thing is to give the receiving nurse the details of our patient, how we found the patient, what we have done to the patient, and how our patient is improving.
And with that, the patient is carefully handled.
While the patient will be at Mulumba, so you can confirm our return to base time and also confirm our rehabilitation method.
Confirm that you will be at Mulumba in a few.
Copied, over and out. So now we get moving to Mulumba. So the moment I reach at hospital, the first thing is to give the receiving nurse the details of our patient, how we found the patient, what we have done to the patient, and how our patient is improving.
And with that, the patient is carefully handed over to the hospital while the ambulance medics return to await their next assignment.
Reporting for Mwangaza TV, my name is Celestine Waka.